So, GUMIHO, series number 1, played against Hero and 3-0'd Hero. A very surprising outcome for sure. But that's some really good play. I mean, just very, very well thought out, very incredibly timed. So it was it was a good series. GUMIHO did not just like accidentally oops his way into this this best of 5, but I think he's gonna have to find more interesting ways to navigate over his opponent, because I would imagine so we have to start thinking like head to head here, right? So GUMIHO versus Byun, who might be the stronger of the two Terran players. I mean, I'd have to give the edge to Byun. I mean, not to like diminish the Gumi God here. There's a reason that he's got the nickname he's got, but I mean, Byun's got some tricky micro tactics that he can utilize to really get himself an advantage on the map, and it's going to come down to whether or not GUMIHO can out-sweat his opponent in the long-form game. Because it seems like right now, going to just go for a pretty standard opening. Now, he does go for Marine first, which is notable to say the least. It's going to be an additional barracks on the back of this as well. So, effectively a 2-1-1, which could be useful. I mean, Rogue is like desperately ready for the Reaper whenever it comes across the map. He's not getting what he's looking for here. 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. I think this should start a tech lab almost immediately. Yeah. So this could be a decent timing here. GUMIHO's got all of the makings of a strong early bio timing. But of course, we know GUMIHO so much for his mech control. And I think being able to pinpoint where that transition could potentially happen is going to be important for Rogue. But right now, once again, Rogue is just like completely ignored Ling speed. He doesn't even have it in production. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I pressed the wrong button. This is interesting. This intrigues me. I mean, you don't forget Ling speed. If you don't get Ling speed, it's a deliberate choice. He just doesn't have it. It's not in production. It's not on his radar. He's just getting queens. Just a crap ton of queens. What are we at so far? Is it 6 so far? He's got 2 more in production. He's going to have 8 queens total. Okay, now this could be spicy. Going to throw down an armory here. You going to get a Hellbat timing? How many Hellions in here? 4 Hellions? Yeah, this is going to be brutal. This might actually work. GUMIHO's going to be able to show up with potential Hellbats here. I guess I think he's just going to take the run by. But yeah, this is a really good situation here. A couple of queens going to be on the defense. Yeah, I should be able to push that back and off. But yeah, those are just going to land. Those are going to turn into Hellbats here once that armory finishes up. And there's no speedlings. It's just queens. And it's just 8 Zerglings in general. Oh, this is spicy. This is like the greediest of builds here for Rogue. And and it feels like greedy for no reason. He's got the evolution chambers out at the 3rd base. This is wild. These are wild choices here by Rogue. I don't think this is going to pay off. I think GUMIHO is going to be able to separate this out. Yeah, there are 7 roaches in production. So far be it for me to say that this is over, but how many of these queens have gone down? Okay, he's gonna evacuate the mineral line here. 7 of the queens have already gone down. 8, make that 8. 7 workers dead here. Oh, these units are now out at the 3rd base location. So the main base has been secured, but Rogue's having to try and rescue this, and he is going to be able to finally shut down this push. Is this enough? Oh, more workers are going to go down here. GUMIHO's keeping the medevac active on the map. Additional barracks going to go down here. A 3rd base is going to be landing on site. I'm still struggling to determine whether or not this is enough damage here. So 14 in total. 1-1 is going to be started up here for GUMIHO. This is hard to tell. Did 1-1 get canceled? Yeah, it did. So Rogue did cancel his upgrades. Yeah, and it's now just going to restart them here. Wants to commit into that +1 missile. This is really, really strange here. No fourth base just yet. Looks like he's going to throw that down right now. So fourth base going to be on the way. And yeah, it's just kind of a weird little situation. We look at the units lost tab. It was a rather, oh yeah, okay, Kitten. Forcing his opponent to really think about that potential drop, even though it's just 2 Marines. It's an interesting trade here. I feel like GUMIHO came away with a lot of damage for the investment that he had as a result of it. It's definitely not like a runaway victory by any stretch of the imagination, because Rogue is still going to climb in his supplies at 138 to 121, but GUMIHO is able to keep that within the margin of error for sure. But Rogue gonna fire up Roach Ravager back behind it. How many tanks are here right now? 3, 1, 2, and then the third one's just sitting at the wall. I mean, Baneling's going to be finishing up here. He's just putting everything out at the third base. I think he must be worried about GUMIHO dropping. Because that's about the only thing I can think of. Because this isn't really the best place to throw your tech as a Zerg player. And he's got all of it here. Both his Evolution Chambers, Baneling Nest, the Infestation Pit. Yeah, he's got to be concerned. I mean, he's got entire coverage here. Oh, actually softening up a couple of those units here with Files. Nice little shots. But GUMIHO has a really strong hold here. Should be able... Oh, actually really good Subsidia on top of it. So good placement of these supply depots to make more difficult positions for the Zerg player. He's going to break down some of these rocks. Okay. Unit's going to get on top of the rally point. So that is going to force Rogue back home. And this is a scary amount of Marines here. This is something he's got to deal with. And there are no Banelings to be seen right now. All these Marines are going to get a lot of damage done. They clean up all the Zerglings. They're going to continue to stream on in, but that's not the way that you want to deal with this. GUMIHO is going to stutter step forward with these Marines, picking off a couple of these Queens, and then will lift up and away. So a decent amount of damage here. Doesn't get anything majorly done economically, but it does clean up a lot of supply here for Rogue, and suddenly things get evened up, 176 to 170. That is not the position you want to be in as the Zerg player. GUMIHO doing a really nice job here. Remember, 1% chance. 1% chance, chat, that GUMIHO can win this 3-0. Sizable better advantage if GUMIHO was able to win this on any other count. But can you do it again? Okay, Baneling's already done. More coming in, 18 on the head. Tank coverage seems to be pretty strong here, but the concave, I think, might be a bit stronger for Rogue. He's going to be able to collapse on this army. Tanks are going to go down. In fact, the tanks are actually all clumped together, so Biles are going to be incredibly efficient to hold this down. And there are Banelings on the rebound. Vipers are going to be added as a part of this army composition. One tank to rule them all there in the back line. And it seems like just standard production here for GUMIHO. He does get out to his fourth base location. It is an orbital. I think that's worth noticing. Orbital command out at the fourth base location. It's not a planetary. That is going to be prone to harassment for sure. +1 melee just about to finish up here. +2 carapace finished as well. Rogue is gonna hit his stride here. I still feel very strongly about Rogue's position the longer the game goes on. Before those drones do go down at that, I guess, yeah, at fourth base, because this would be the fifth base location. Remember the harassment I was talking about? Gets a cancel on the base as well, so that is going to delay a planetary fortress that much more. So I don't think there were any banelings with this position. So, oh yeah, they were just going to come in right now as banelings. But that's a decent amount of army sunk onto the right-hand side of the map, so this tank can get picked off. Oh yeah, no lift of the supply depots as well, so that's going to be some additional damage here. These are going to be workers that are killed and pulled off to the bunker. But GUMIHO is still maxed out, has a decent bank, so not a scary position for him to try and play from at all. These Banelings going to get targeted down. There is not any AoE attack right now for GUMIHO, so splash damage is inexistent in this army. It's just one tank over here on the left-hand side. Now Gumi going to try and split on a couple of different locations here. We're so used to seeing his mech play that we're going to have to witness his bioplane. We'll pick off the spawning pool, which is a good feat here. That is going to have to be rebuilt. It's not going to take terribly long, and there are going to be other units to be built for Rogue. So will be a short slowdown. A couple of Ultras going to be added into the production tab, as well as the upgrades. So chitinous plating being researched, +3. It's about halfway done, or +3 carapace rather. Additional bases coming down. This just continues to be a longer drawn out game for Rogue. Oh no. Not again, no. Senor Enki, why? ¿Por qué? No, I think this is, this is slowly kind of stabilizing here. GUMIHO is getting up into his stronger army count, 120 to 184, or 120 to 84. Enki's the new Emil. It's true, so true. Like 4-letter E name. I mean, that's just cursed. You might as well just change your username at that point. All right, Vipers get into the fight here. Nice blinding clouds allowing this army to advance forward with lesser damage. And there's just no support against these Banelings here. They do roll ridiculously far forward. Is this going to be a base that gets shut down? I don't think so. The Biles go towards the army, which just stutter steps forward here. Rogue is actually having a difficult time trying to stabilize this out here. Does get pushed all the way back to his base, but workers not in the line of fire, not at this point. So additional Ultras getting added into the mix, and we're going to see a Spire get thrown down. Quite the interesting appeal here. Very, very interesting. Anabolic synthesis being finished up. That's at ultra speed, if you're not used to seeing that. If that looks like an ultra foot to you. Yeah, it makes them faster off creep. Yeah, look at that speedy boy go. Oh, okay, just staying still. Baneling's gonna try and connect on as many squishy targets as humanly possible. Great blinding clouds here onto the tanks. There's only one tank left back behind, but they do need to start connecting with tanks here. They are gonna get picked off. They will be able to get pushed back. So tanks will survive for right now, and they do their job. They hold the front door. So quite the position here that we find ourselves in. Heading into the 16-minute mark. Ghost Academy going to be popping up. Just a nice little long-form game. Kind of booting up. Is that base going to go down? That is going to get picked off. 88 to 166. The worker count's rather high for Rogue. He's sitting around 95. It's not like intensely high, but it is worth noting. It's going to be an investment in a lot of Low-cost units. The swarm is going to be incredibly real here in this game number 1. Coming on in. Vipers, yeah, there go the blinding clouds. Tanks might be dealt with this time around. Yeah, at least the tanks at the front get a much better position here. This is going to be a dead base, despite the worker. Despite the worker repair here, that's going to get picked up. Liberators, though, going to make that complicating here. 15 workers do end up going down. Little drop here in the top left-hand corner, trying to deal some additional damage, but not going to find what they need. As long as the Ultras live outside of the liberation zones. Oh, yeah, don't want to mess with that. Ultra gets a tank. Oh, it almost does it. Repositions last second. I think he could have grabbed that. Would have been better than dying for nothing. We're going to get Broodlords out of this, though. Corruptors coming in on the way. And actually, it could just be Corruptors. Yeah, I think it just might be Corruptors. I wouldn't be surprised to see Flyer Attack +2 started almost immediately. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, I think it could even just be sticking at +1. Those Corruptors are going to do a really, really good job of dealing with the Liberators. This is a scary amount of damage here. That is going to come in. Great blinding clouds. All the Banelings go into a tank, though. This is not the engagement that it could have been. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Rogue's just going to bulldoze his opponent here. GUMIHO plummets in supply. 103 to 188. Ghosts are good. They're not that good. GG is called. Rogue, game number 1. Overwhelms his opponent. 18-minute game. The long-form match goes to the long-form player. So, game number 2 is going to appear to open pretty slowly once again. I don't know. I think it's interesting. And he's going to open up Marine once again. So, I mean, the Marine opening is interesting because it implies that he wants to... He wants to just get something a little bit sneakier out, but really doesn't appear to be anything too crazy out of the norm. I mean, it was barracks. It was barracks into command center. He's going to toss down a factory behind this and grab a second gas. I mean, this is as normal as it gets. So why the Marines? Maybe GUMIHO doesn't feel as confident about his Reaper play. I mean, this Overlord's going to get in there anyways. But 3 Marines could get a lot of damage done, especially if they do encounter like this Overlord. That would get picked off. And 3 Marines could be enough to kite here, especially since Rogue has been really delaying his Ling speed. I want to make it very clear. Ling speed only going up now. Okay, that actually should be a full cancel. Maybe. It's gonna get close, but that should be fine. Yeah, spoke a bit too soon. Once again, we are going to get a bit of a fast open here. Now, this isn't going to be quite as punchy as the 2-1-1 that we saw in game number 1. So, Tech Lab only going down right now, and it's just 1 barracks. So, the upside is it could hit a little bit earlier, but it's not going to hit with the same kind of strength that we saw initially. And honestly, didn't work that great in game number 1. It's gonna have a little bit with it, but 7 Marines, 4 Hellions, and no armory behind this either. Yeah, no armory at all. So they're just gonna be plain old Hellions. And the Hellions are actually still on the map. Yeah, there they go. I feel like that could have been coordinated maybe a little bit stronger. Okay, Marines are going to wrap around into the main base here. These are going to find a bit of an angle here. SimCity with Roach Warren is going to limit the amount of rotating that can happen. But yeah, GUMIHO only now dropping off these Marines. And a lot of the Marines are already softened up in general. So 6 drones have gone down, but for the exchange, it's okay. It's not great. Okay, Rogue does get a scout and does see the production here. We'll see that tech lab is cooking on the barracks. Stimpack is going to be on the way. Third command center is complete as well. Will become an orbital command here in just a moment. And 1-1 is on the way for Roach. +1 missile once again, so we will see Roach Ravager as the predominant archetype for Rogue's army. And I mean, honestly, Roach Ravager into Ravagerling Bane's not terrible against an army composition of GUMIHO's, especially since GUMIHO is prone to stick with his mech composition. But we are seeing additional barracks going down, which means we will be getting bio out of the Terran player. Oh, we are going to see the infestation pit just a little bit early in this game. So the 4th base actually only just getting started now. So 4th base alongside the infestation pit feels as if the tech is going to advance a little bit quicker than the production expansion, which isn't terrible. I mean, Rogue has been playing particularly greedy in his games today, delaying his tech to some degree. And really not paying for it. But GUMIHO is staying even with him on supply right now. 120. Okay, there's a bit of a jump. The Roaches finally kind of kick into the production tab. But even still, 123 to 116. So this is, I think, notably still a close game right now. Rogue can't afford to protect a couple of these advances here. He does not want to allow this 4th base to get canceled freely. Oh, we are going to see Hydras. Okay. So Hydra's into Hive. That I think that gives us the indication we're going to have lurkers in this game in number 2. So we might not even see much in the way of Hydra production outside of what it might take to get to lurkers. +1 melee on the way. Yeah, there we go. Right into a lurker den. I don't even know. Will Rogue pick up any of the Hydra upgrades? This is possible, maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Lurkerling Bane become the predominant force of good and evil here for Rogue. Do we have the Baneling Nest? No, not yet. So right now, Roach Ravager Lurker on the menu. Oh, yeah, okay, he's going to pick up Groove Spines. So, okay, it's a sizable army here for GUMIHO. Rogue's going to have to back off and respect that. 4th base not up or secured or even in production. Yeah, it's oops all production here for GUMIHO. He wants to keep that pressure on, wants to get into the face of his opponent, and I think that's the right choice. Yeah, I mean, every minute that goes by, I can't stress that enough. GUMIHO makes big advances, or Rogue makes big advances against his opponent. Brain. So I'm starting to think that the lurker position is going to become very, very important here in just a moment. That should be enough army for Rogue to deal with that, but he needs to find a way to stop this slow advance from GUMIHO. Now I thought I heard it sounded like a snipe. Ghost Academy is like in production, so clearly not the case. Okay, Army of GUMIHO is going to back off. Rogue here is supply max. Seismic Spine is going to be finishing up here in just a moment, so Lurker range will be on the horizon, and then we will start to see Adaptive Talents. I think once Adapted Talents finishes up Lurker Speed, it's going to allow Rogue to really get out onto the map, but wouldn't be surprised to see him start slow pushing here soon, as creep spread's actually pretty remarkable. He is out to about the center of the map, at least for him. A nice little slow push. Okay, Adaptive Talents just about to finish up here. But you know what? If your opponent is going to push into you, I mean, no reason to not let them do so. Adrenal gland's about halfway done here. He's going to get muscular augments, the additional upgrade for his Hydra. So he wants to keep those as a part of the army composition. That was a nice little coating of spines there. Now, ghosts are going to start working away on this lurker count, for sure. Slowly but surely. Wouldn't be surprised to see this army start pushing forward. You know, all of the lurkers over here on this corner here. There's only 5 right now. 3 more in production. Okay, gonna scan pretty relentlessly to keep tabs on this, and Rogue knows when the army's gonna be just a bit too much. He's gonna pick up and back off. 7 more lurkers in production here. Not picking off the rocks here at that third base location could be difficult if the tanks work their way forward. It seems as if it's just a lot of bio right now. All the attention over here on the right-hand side of the map. I keep glancing over here to the left to see if Rogue or GUMIHO wants to try and make anything bizarre happen. Ravager. Getting picked off. Okay. There's a traitor to the swarm. That's all I can think of. Okay, looks like the 5th base is gonna get secured as well. So this just ends up being a bit of a slow burn here in game number 2. Gonna approach the 13-minute mark and bit of a standstill here on the right-hand side of the map. It seems to be where our players have decided to pick their battle. Ooh, actually weaseling his way forward here, picking off one of the tanks. Ooh, ghosts on the rally. Has to be careful not to toss those away by accident. He's going to add additional lurkers here. What are we at for a lurker count? 11 and 7 more in production. So this base is just going to be for gas mining, which is still very important, but still necessary one way or the other. Not quite going to get that damage done. So this base is going to be under fire. I think that's going to have to be dealt with to some degree. The ghost count continues to rise rapidly here. 17 in total. Let's just obliterate all of those. Man, this snipes. Snipe after snipe after snipe after snipe. I mean, creep spreads here very, very pushed far forward. Rogue is slowly working his way forward here. Slowly but surely. Trying to make some advances. is going to be able to pick off the tanks, and that will make things at least a bit more difficult for GUMIHO to try and deal with. The range becoming a little bit oppressive to deal with. There's a medevac here with 8 Marines inside of it. His ghost count is just getting incredibly high. GUMIHO's got a decent harassment potential here as well. Nukes? Nukes on the menu? Okay, all right. But he's got to find a way to stop this slow push here. This is a planetary fortress, so that is going to help. But this is starting to get dangerously close here. Yeah, that might just be... Okay, one of them is in range of the planetary. But this is going to be difficult to try and engage into, especially since the Overseers are going to provide that additional vision. Now we are going to start seeing the units on the left-hand side pick a fight over here. It's going to lift up, but that's just, I think, bait to get those units in onto the tanks. Ooh, is that tank going to go down? It should. Oh, the repair's just good enough. Targeting not quite there. GUMIHO was very, very good decision making. And this is starting to look like a war of attrition. Ghosts are getting a lot of great damage here if we look at the resources lost. Wow, GUMIHO's been playing a very efficient game here. Only 6,000 minerals and 1,400 gas. It's a very, very efficient game here by the Terran player, and it's reflected in his bank as well. All right, Nuke's gonna come down. Oh, I mean, Rogue cannot afford to fight here. He's got to be able to back off, and it looks like the nuke kit does get canceled. Bane's on creep. Even though they're slow, getting a lot of value here. GUMIHO's supply plummets here a little bit, but what is left behind to defend appears to be a decent amount. Rogue is cleaning up a little bit more supply as well. So both players remaxing just a little bit, utilizing that bank at their disposal. GUMIHO still has a decent amount of gas and minerals on top of it. So the follow-up once again comes as we get into Hydra Lurker Ling Bane. The base in the lower right-hand corner that I think Rogue is going to have to at least think about at some point. Rogue is just having a difficult time even trying to break into this. Ghosts are becoming incredibly more efficient as the game goes along. Now, Rogue's been able to trade just a little bit more effectively here in the last couple of minutes. I don't know if Banelings are the solution here. I mean, Banelings versus Ghosts, not incredibly powerful, but it could be a means to an end here. He's going to push on forward with this army. This is a large army. This feels like a big committal in onto this unit count. And the Banelings are going to make the difference here. They break the base. The orbital goes down. The planetary goes down. So that at least is an economic win here for Rogue, who did have to sacrifice a decent amount of units to try and make it happen. And it seems like it's going to come with a response on the opposite side of the map here. That base is probably gonna go down. It's gonna be close. Looks like reinforcements will arrive just in time. Oh, but that's a lot of lurker cocoons. These snipes can be incredibly useful. We're gonna get a bunch down though, so a little bit of a bait here. Okay, Orbital Command does replace here. This planetary fortress in the lower right-hand corner will be something that Rogue has to deal with. I'm quite certain he has no idea it's there. Yeah. Liberator going up to the top right. This is another big push here on the right-hand side. This is another position to try and break, but the Banelings are going to be able to make it into the mineral line. That's going to be a lot of workers going down for the trouble, and I think the Ghost got all pinned as well. So largely, this is going to be a difficult point for them to really break out of. Now, the workers do get killed, but the base is allowed to remain, which I think is an important factor. That is not the case in the top left-hand corner, where it is exactly the opposite. The workers are allowed to live, but the base goes down. So both players just trading out slug after slug. Now, their banks are starting to deplete just a little bit here, which means Rogue is going to be kind of on the clock to try and figure out his replacement. Oh, but that lower right-hand base. That is going to be an unfortunate miss here for Rogue if it comes down to it. Ooh, this is starting to look really good for GUMIHO here. He's got a continual base up in the lower right. As long as he can avoid losing a bunch of his workers to Banelings. And this continues to be a pain in the neck here in the top left-hand corner. Once again, this is a big war of attrition. Can the Ghosts outlast the impact of the Lurkers? It seems like right now that is ending up being the case. Okay, he does find the base in the lower right. So that actually ended up being a pretty good grab. Yeah, I think, yeah, he wanted the base for himself. That's how he ended up finding it. There's going to be this base in the top left-hand corner again, and GUMIHO keeps sending the minimum amount of units to do it, which has got to be frustrating for the Zerg player. A couple of spare orbitals here, just to keep life populated and good. Okay, slow push once again here. The lurker count is a little bit on the low side, so he's got to be careful. Tank's going to get really good connections on a lot of these lurkers before the lings come pouring on in. Baneling's going to try and find some of these vulnerable ghosts if they can make it happen. But once again, this is kind of a thin situation here. The base is finally going to get picked off, and I think all the workers are going to go down with it as, well, not quite, but a decent amount. I mean, 6 do end up remaining. On the left-hand side here, the units of GUMIHO going to try and exact some revenge. Every time Rogue's able to bust in on the right-hand side, GUMIHO has a force on the left to follow up. So it did come at the cost of 14 workers. These ghosts don't want to get too far out. That's one oops away from it just falling apart. Now we are going to start seeing these lurkers just slowly pick away. I mean, this is a very interesting position here. GUMIHO's down to 37 workers. I mean, he has a sizable mineral bank, and he's been able to keep up with his opponent. But I think to the point where Rogue's going to be able to continually make Lings and Banes, it could potentially work out in Rogue's favor. But his gas bank isn't very strong. I mean, gas is depleted out here. There's a lot of empty gas geysers. Oh, that's going to be a dead base. That's a good pickup here for GUMIHO, and he's going to be able to get the base in the lower right-hand corner as well. Should be able to lift up with a majority of these units as well. Oh, that's a great pick. I mean, it doesn't matter that Rogue has additional economic units. It matters more that that GUMIHO has 134 army supply to the 103. And a lot of this is in Ghost. Ghost with an incredible amount of energy. I think this is going to slowly start falling apart here for Rogue. Unless he can find a way to really deal with these Ghosts. But Lings are not going to cut it. Banelings, not going to be enough. And 17 workers going down is a bit too much damage. Really strong here. Well, he does find the Ghost, but again, Lings are not going to be enough to deal with that. There's got to be something else to put this up, and GUMIHO is going to reserve the strongest part of his army for the follow-up here. This is just going to be way too much. GG is finally called. GUMIHO. Game number 2. 26-minute game. That all this is going to be? Big, long games? GG. I mean, GUMIHO's been showing some pretty okay games, but I mean, it's been a long time since he has won against a Zerg player. I mean, it's been all the way back to May when he beat Sue in the ESL Open Cup. And last time GUMIHO played Rogue even was just rather recent. It was in Code S. Rogue won 2-0. Or 2-1, rather, sorry. Doesn't have a whole lot of wins against Zerg players. Now, I will say, he's been showing at least some quality wins against Protoss players as of late. But, I mean, big-time players like Classic, Zoun, having to tap out. Oh, there's the ESL Open Cup Americas, where GUMIHO is just rocking American Protoss players. Oh my gosh, this is like the tightest production wall I've ever seen in my life. All right, so Cloak Banshee to open things up. Pretty rock solid game opener here. Yeah, so both players are just going to take a really, really slow approach here to game number 3. It's going to be Banelings off the front here. So not going to go into Roach Ravager this time around. Could possibly be teasing maybe some Queenling Bane. But right now, there's no read into. Okay, there goes the lair timing. So I was gonna say no easy read into when the lair is gonna go down. It's gonna be a fusion core. Okay, that's fun. That's super fun. We're gonna get Battle Cruiser for game number 3. Spicy. I like it. But it seems like Rogue is going to be pulling up with, yeah, this looks like it's going to be Mutiling Bane. Which, Spire is going to be a natural, great response here. GUMIHO is anticipating that Rogue is going to stick with his Roach Ravager opening, and that just doesn't appear to be the case. And, I mean, he's scouted the Baneling Nest. I guess it hasn't seen exactly what he needs to, but yeah, he needs to get some additional scouting going here. Spire's going to go down. Where is that going to be located? Yeah, back of the main. That could still be scouted. Not going to be readily available information at this point. But I think he's had a chance to see all of the gases being taken. He saw the gas going down there. I guess he is missing a couple of important gas pieces, but... Who's that attack? Oh. I was like, I hear the Zergling nibble happening. This battlecruiser is going to be able to show up a lot sooner than Rogue is going to be able to have access to his air units. But I think Rogue's going to be able to react appropriately. He's got a decent queen count. He's going to be able to hang on in that regard. 6 workers do end up going down from the natural, which is a decent amount of damage, but it's not life-changing. Thor gonna be the follow-up. Thor battlecruiser. That's the mech we've all come to know and love. So we are gonna get a mech game now finally out of GUMIHO. A little bit of his bread and butter, if you will. Okay, second battlecruiser is out and completed. Hellions are gonna maintain some decent mobility on the map. It's gonna be double Thor production. I adore them. This is awesome. So, suddenly recognizing that Rogue is not going to go for Roach Ravager, I mean, I think he goes for the appropriate response here. Finding something that's going to trade really, really well against Mutiling Bane. Should at least be strong enough to keep Rogue from doing a big amount of damage. But yeah, the scout should be able to come out and see that it is going to be lots of factories up here in the main base. And picking off one of the gases, that's at least a nice start here. Oh, but they're going to fly right into the Thor. A little bit of magic boxing, trying to keep that Thor at bay here. Workers get pulled to try and fix the Thor, but that's not going to be near enough. The 14 workers going to get picked off. A couple of valuable units as well. Lanes are going to come pouring on in as well. And now that the Thor is out of the picture here, that's going to be a lot of damage onto these units. One stray Baneling going to come in and try and seal the deal here. Oh, man, what an interesting situation here. Oh, the Baneling trying to get into the workers. Trying to stop that Thor from being repaired, and it is done. Oh my gosh, no, there's nothing there. Oh, okay, there is definitely something there that can deal with those mutas. Oh, but 35 workers. Rogue had an opportunity to strike. Strike he did. He got some very, very valuable units knocked out of the sky. And he's done it for a reasonable amount. I mean, getting that many workers for the trades that he had is pretty good. Yeah, that's just going to allow Rogue to take a 6th base here. He's got a 5th base already set in stone. I'm surprised that we haven't seen any Corruptors just yet. Corruptors are going to trade a little bit better there. Full kill on that base, but 300 minerals is probably not the scariest thing in the world. Thor's in a good spot to hold that base down. And but Rogue's got to be careful he doesn't just throw away his advantage here. He does have 178 to 127 supply advantage, but losing a couple of these bases for not a lot of exchange could be a deadly error. Here come the mutas to try and jump on top of these battle cruisers, but they are going to get pulled back over here. to deal with the Hellions. Hellions don't have blue flame, which is a value. Oh, Thor's gonna get caught out. That's gonna be a dead Thor. Oh man, the Thor's not even gonna attack. Just trapped. Can't wiggle away from these lings. Lings are gonna be able to make it up into the natural as well. Oh man, that is so many workers. All in tow. GG is going to be called. Rogue overwhelming his opponent. Gets up 2-1. Makes this a much better game for the Zerg player and puts himself on match point. So, we've had quite a variety of games today. Lots of different build orders that have taken us kind of into different directions. Even just getting to see GUMIHO spend some time doing non-mech things is pretty good. So a little bit of variety, the spice of life. Rogue doing his diligence to scout for some of those proxies. Once again, GUMIHO not coming out with any Reapers. Ooh, there we go. Are going to get into that 2-1-1 once again. Yeah, the delay on Ling speed. Very interesting. Because yeah, it's just one drone on gas. I guess it gets his economy going a little bit faster. I suppose that makes sense. So we've got a 2-1-1 coming up once again. We'll have to see if... I mean, I anticipate this is probably going to be the same kind of Hellbat Marine timing. It's going to push across the map early. And on Blackburn, that's not a terrible choice. I mean, there are a lot of good attack points that you can utilize here, especially against a Zerg. I mean, at this early onset of the game, it's not quite as expansive for the Zerg player to really overwhelm your army, especially if you can kind of get into this little choke. Really attack from right here, and then you can pinch the reinforcements coming in and put pressure on that third. The third becomes very, very exposed if you're not careful. All comes down to whether or not there's going to be an armory along with this. Not seeing one just yet. We got going across the map. Just a medevac. Full of Marines. I mean, they might just settle for an Overlord. Yeah. I mean, that's not a terrible choice. Here comes the armory. There you go. Get an Overlord. Armor's going to come down. This is going to have less amount, or a smaller amount of Marines. Actually, I don't know. I mean, with that small number against this many queens, I don't think this is going to have the punch that you need it to. I mean, maybe it does, but I also think Rogue's just going to be ready for this. Yeah, he's got Banelings. He's got Banelings morphing in here. This is a complicating situation here. Oh, the medevac went down as well. Rogue's in great shape. Yeah, he's just going to chase the queens to some degree. Yeah, GUMIHO's in a bit of a rough spot. He's going to try and run out to his third base, but these Lings could potentially have something to say about that. More than likely going to check that gold expand. No, they are going to run back. Oh, no, there they go. Picking up reinforcements is going to be really, really good here. Macro hatchery going to go down. Actually, it's going to get picked off. That's actually going to be a full kill. That's a decent amount of damage here. GUMIHO getting some response. Does get the cancel off at the third base location. So, not the end of the world here, but ooh, that medevac's dangerously low. GUMIHO's got to be careful. Okay, he's going to be able to get that out. 1-1 does get started up here. And it feels like Rogue is in a really commanding spot here to get his fourth base up at the gold expand. Just be careful, can't let this base get full killed. You already lost 1 to your macro hatchery. I mean, I guess that's a really good way to like take care of floating minerals. Just build your macro hatch, then have it get killed so you can build another one again. I mean, that's just big brain activity right there. Fuse. Just give me Queenling Mainframe now. Which isn't a terrible idea on this particular map. Especially since the hatchery here at the gold is going to be advantageous to you. Is going to have to find a way to defend against the attack here. They're not going to be able to pressure the hatchery, which works out for Rogue, but he's going to have to find a way to deal with these units. 1-1 is just about complete for both players. Ooh, good target fire. Great target fire even onto those banelings. Every single baneling gets picked off before it's even going to come into range. So that does delay this gold expand for just a little while longer. Now this could be good damage. There's still wiggle room here on the top side. What happened last game? Last game it was Mutiling Bane from Rogue. That was a response to a really, really tight Thor battlecruiser factory timer. So it was mech from the Gumi God. All right, 7 workers, not crazy. Ooh, but the Lings are actually gonna be able to stick around here and get additional damage. That's great amounts here. And GUMIHO, while he's been able to delay this base from really getting set in its position, he has not gotten a whole lot done. Now this could be really, really good damage. That's gonna have to be canceled. Yeah, that's a smart cancel here by Rogue. GUMIHO does manage to get a little bit done. So, who won? It was Rogue. 2-1, or he's put himself up 2-1. All right, Hydras now finally do come out. Oh, Rogue. Okay, GUMIHO, very, very good map awareness here. Keeping an eye on where these units are sitting at all times. Rogue does not have the endless amounts of supply that he needs right now. He is utilizing a lot of his map positioning to create some additional impact, but the reality is that Rogue's got to be very careful here. The supply is very, very tight here. 154 to 144. GUMIHO with very, very good pickup control here on these bio units, avoiding just losing a big ball of Marines to a Baneling snap. 2-2 is a little over halfway done for GUMIHO. Rogue's 2-2. A little bit more so in the works. Okay, just enough Banelings here to try and make that work. This army's going to have to come back home, but that's a decent amount of damage here. It should be 9 workers, just keeping it under double digit in kills. And a lot of these Lings are going to be able to get back out, but I think that should just be about the end of it. Those units are going to get cornered. So Zergling's going to try and find any amount of damage. They're actually just going to run right back into a mineral line. Oh, I actually really like that. 3 more workers. That makes that double-digit kills. The pickup with the medevac. Hilarious. All right, so now Hydras make this an interesting bout. So they do have groove spines. They're not super fast, but I don't think they need to be the fast unit. Oh, they're actually going to catch those medevacs. That's a great pick here. That should tip Rogue off. Yes, he's on the bottom side of the map already. He's got a decent force here to try and keep things under wraps. That's a great pick here for the Zerg player. GUMIHO's going to try and have to make this work, and I think he is. That's actually really good splits here by the Terran player. That's going to force a cancel onto that lower base. Rogue's going to have to pull the top army back. He's not going to be able to harass on the opposite side of the map with that. Okay, the mine does not find anything too terribly crazy here, which means the Banelings are going to be able to roll on in. Will they be able to find their connections? No! Great coverage by those Marauders is going to protect the Marines, at least for the time being. But it is a smaller force than maybe GUMIHO was hoping to end up with, 159 to 129. 7 workers did end up going down in the exchange, but there's just no place for GUMIHO to go right now. Now, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Land and commit his own kind of Harry Carry here? Well, he's going to try and target down the spawning pool. I think he's going to get that. So that's a pretty decent grab here. That's going to limit Ling production for the time being. But Rogue's done a pretty decent job of spending down. So his production can be largely in Hydras, and it should be okay. Picking off the Infestation Pit is a bit annoying. But the layer is done, yeah, so GUMIHO doesn't want to overcommit to that. Nice little pickup of the bio units here out in the center, and it does equalize a lot of the forces here. GUMIHO still able to provide some harassment here in the main base and the natural base of Rogue, who's not having a good time trying to get this cleaned up. No! Anki, no! Oh, no! All right. So that does get cleaned up. I mean, his dead even supplies right now, 134 to 131. GUMIHO does have the army advantage at 73 to 53 workers. So if Rogue can somehow clean up this army here, he'll be in a pretty decent spot, but proving to be a challenge right now. This 4th base is going to be able to come under fire now. Yeah, that gold expand's actually going to go down in its entirety. Okay, it's going to go back into Lurkerling Bane once again. Muscular Augments? Yeah, Muscular Augments are done. So Hydras are going to have at least some mobility here. Additional Banelings. I do like this addition here. I think that was what was missing in game number 2. Ooh, Mines. Ooh, Mines actually committing a little bit of friendly fire here. Yeah, Banelings are, I think, a much better addition to this army composition for sure, as Rogue's going to be able to double up on some of his AoE and splash damage. Now, Hive is completed. We do see Adaptive Talons underway. I believe, yeah, it's going to be his first Lurker upgrade that's on the way. But this is starting to settle in once again. Now, the base count here for Rogue is a little bit stronger than it was previous time around. And this debris is actually still up. I don't know if that base will get replaced. I mean, there are still gold minerals there, but it might not be worth it. The juice might not be worth the squeeze. All right, Lurker's going to be able to secure that location. Oh, decent amount of Hydras here on the high side. Widowmine not going to get some free shots. Not today. Big pickup, going to try and run into the main, but will not find as much value there. Units going to come on the high side as well. A lot of those units actually getting dropped on the low ground, which is actually smart for the Terran player. If anything, going to avoid a lot of the damage from the Banelings, if anything. Oh, actually, I like that. Using the Baneling Morph to try and draw some of the Mind Fire. Not quite making it super effective there, but definitely getting some value out of it. Yeah, Ling's going to try and get some additional work here. Big Doom drop into the main, though. No Adrenal Glands just yet. There are Vipers. Vipers got to be careful, though. They don't want to just immediately fall to all of these Marines here. And the fight's coming up here on the top side. Workers do get pulled off of the line. That actually might be an effective work pull there. Yeah, it does end up helping out. It saves a little bit of the economy there on the top side. Good parasitic bombs to drive these medevacs away. But GUMIHO is everywhere on the map all at once. He's going to run up to the top side once again. He does have the supply advantage here, 140 to 134. It's a slight advantage, but it's a very important one as he is able to continue to drive home the damage that is coming underway. And the Lurker Den actually did get picked off, so Lurker Den has to be built once again. I think both of the Lurker upgrades are done. Yeah, no, he's only got adaptive talons at this point. So the Lurkers are fast, but they do not shoot as far as they normally do, which means those Banelings are going to be incredibly important here. Great splits by GUMIHO. Oh, Rogue is not able to hold this together, I don't think. He's having a difficult time, and GUMIHO is going to send it to a game number 5. GG. Oh, we're going to get all 5 of them here in this last series. All right. So, 4 Lings to cancel the natural. Is this Reaper just going to stay at home? No. It's going to go high side. It's all about positioning at this point. Reaper's going to stay at home. Reaper's going to stay at home. Smart. All right, so that actually protects. That 100% keeps GUMIHO's second base alive. Yeah, he's not even gonna be able to go in. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, but I think that leaves just enough time. There's more Lings. He's just got more Lings in production. Okay, Link Speed is gonna be able to come in here. Is it? No, this doesn't feel like a good play. I mean, this doesn't feel good by Rogues. I mean, that supply depot is gonna go up. He's just gonna let it in? I was gonna say there's the Hellions are here. This just feels incredibly bold. Huh. Okay, well. It's gonna be doubled down here. Low eco game right now. No third base here for Rogue, which means Rogue is going to have to try and make something work here. What's going to make work on Lair Tech? There's no roaches. Could just be a really quick 2-base Spire play, but I mean, on top of your opponent creating a lot of space and a lot of success here in the early game, it's a very risky play. So ultimately, what it'll come down to is whether or not Rogue can double surprise his opponent. But the Viking up, that could be a bit of a folly. Okay, Spinecrawler going to go down. You know, got to see the Spire, right? There goes the Spire. Okay. Now, quick Muta play could be advantageous here. I mean, one Viking's not going to be able to defend all of that. But also, I mean, this is a scary army force. Mutas come screaming across the sky, and suddenly, I mean, you got to have a response to the army on the ground, because that's exactly what GUMIHO is going to jump into. Just getting across the map. So the third base being spotted as not present. I mean, no third base either for Rogue at all. I mean, this is getting to not be entirely all in, but I mean, this is very committed. Oh yeah, that Spore Crawler. Not quite up. Oh, that Banshee's gonna get a lot of good damage here. En's gonna get scouting information. Rogue, Rogue's on the ropes here. I mean, this is a scary amount of units. Yes, there are a couple of spine crawlers, and that is going to be helpful, but these not Banshees, these Hellions can just drive right on by. Oh, they are going to stop just briefly. They don't want to get cornered by the Lings. The Banshee does finally end up getting picked off. So settling for a few workers and the creep tumors is about the best that they can hope for. Ling's going to pour across the map now, and it becomes a game of dodging here for both players. It seems like GUMIHO is going to be ready for Rogue's advances, but again, there's no third base. I mean, this is rather committed at this point. +1 flyer attack as well behind it. And at some point, you have to think that we're going to get a third base to go down. Yeah, here we go. We are going to finally see that third base get planted. Is Rogue going to have enough to deal damage here? Oh, mines. Okay, he does see the mines that just came out. Is he going to notice that there are additional mines right here? They do get targeted. Oh, half of those mutas get picked off right away. I guess he only loses 2, but the rest of them very softened up. Cannot stick around. He cannot just dive in and out. He's going to need additional units to make that happen. So he's got 10 so far. This Banshee starting to harass once again. Got 2 kills. I think that's going to be where it ends. And enough bio to keep things rolling. GUMIHO up and starting to situate his third base location. Rogue doesn't even have a third up just yet. Ooh, this is starting to look dicey for the Zerg player. GUMIHO's in a great spot here, holding strong. If he can hold strong on this next push, this could potentially be the game winner for him. All right, Marine's going to stutter step back here. Good control. However, the Hellion's not going to be as efficient trying to deal with the units in the sky. There we finally have some additional reinforcements coming in here. Additional mutas. Mutas do now have +1. So that's important to note here. These mutas are going to be very, very strong. They're going to be able to dive on in and get a lot of good damage. These are going to be able to start dealing with towers as well. Can he get combat shield? It's going to be really close. Combat shield finishes just in the nick of time. Oh, GUMIHO able to squeeze out combat shields. Rogue literally like a split second late on getting that canceled. But these mutas are still going to find an insane amount of damage here. There are Lings on the ground here that are going to start working away at the wall, and these mutas are going to try and help as well. Great coverage here. Rogue is just everywhere on the map all at once. I think these mutas might be able to start working away at his opponent here. GUMIHO not able to really hang on right now. There's nothing out of the third base to keep things protected. Great Overseer to grab the mines. That means the mineral line is going to be exposed here at the third base location. There's nothing that shoots up here for GUMIHO. He is falling apart at the seams right now. This third base is under fire. That orbital command is never going to be able to survive the wages of war at this point. Mutas are the natural enemy right now, and it seems like these Marines are going to try to do their best, but there's just not nearly enough. Workers get pulled into the fight, but the Lings are just too much, and as this base falls, so does GUMIHO's chances of winning, and GG is called. Rogue with the 3-2 victory over his opponent. Well played.